and welcome back to the Friday Feels episode of the U Up Podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Freed, and we are joined by a very special guest. Their special is out on Hulu right now, and you can go watch it, go stream it, enjoy it. I have seen the special. I saw it in Seattle live. It is a wonderful, wonderful special. It's so funny. You're going to love it. Make sure you're watching it. You know, make the date night, the couch night, whatever it is. And we're so excited to have them here. Atsuko Okatsuka.
Thank you, Jared.
I just butchered it. I so hard. I'm sorry.
No.
Right away. I'm an insulting asshole.
No. People get nervous. It's nerve-wracking, you know?
I get nervous. I do get nervous.
I get nervous too. That's why I let Jared do the intros.
It's like,
you're good at that.
It's the hardest thing ever. Like, you know, when I like am on the road, the part that I'm most nervous about is introducing my opener on the God mic backstage. Because I always still mess that up sometimes.
And even if I've known them 100 years, you know, like I still do I have them say their name to me so that I didn't just imagine their name.
Right. And even Jared, even you with a pretty boring name gets didn't the New York Times call you Jason Freed?
Jason Fried. The New York Times
Jason
put
Fried,
me as
yes.
Jason Fried.
Wow.
It can happen to any of us.
To anyone.
Atsuko, I'm so excited you're here because I don't know if you remember, but we had this, you did a show in Seattle the night before I was doing a show there.
Yeah.
And I got there a night early and I looked out my window and your name is in lights. And I walked up to the ticket booth and I'm like, are there any tickets available? I would love to go. And I'll never forget it. They go, it is completely sold out, but someone just came up to the booth and donated their ticket to anyone walking by and you can have it.
Wow.
And I was like, this is, and then fate. And then I walk in and your audience, everyone there, like, I got to say, your act is amazing. It was so funny. And the audience, there was a familial feel to the group that came out to your show. Do you feel that? Do you see that?
Yeah, for sure. They're like, you know, fellow weirdos like you. You know, you were also there. So
yeah, I'm one of the weirdos.
Fellow beautiful weirdos. You know, sometimes a lot of them, it's their first time going to a comedy show because they're like, oh, I didn't really feel like, you know, maybe comedians spoke to me before you know, maybe. Yeah. So maybe they're like, you know, oh, we thought we would get made fun of if we go watch comedy. And so it's that kind of people. So they're usually like on time and very sweet. They like pick up after themselves. I'm like, what? You guys are not like me because I'm not like that. But yeah. And what's wild is Jared, they would have just let you in, you know, just because, yeah, I mean, you're Jared and you're also performing there tomorrow, the next day, right? You're so sweet to have.
But I just wanted to like, you know, I have this thing with stand-up specifically where I'm like, I want to go see what the show is like, you know, like I don't want to again, I'm nobody, but I'm also like, I'm not going to go up. Do you know who I am? I'm here tomorrow night. I have shows too. Like I was like looking to like experience the you experience. And then it is noticeable that your audience, like it is noticeable. They're like very kind. I was just watching, I kind of took in the whole thing and it's weird to notice that.
Yeah. I'm very, you know, proud of them. I'm more proud of them than I am of me.
What does it mean to have a kind audience? Like, what does that mean in a comedy scene?
Well, they're like very positive and they want, you know, to have a good time and truly like are joyous people, you know? And so I guess they won't be heckling. They won't be heckling.
Right. Oh, okay.
Right. You know, usually I've had one time in San Francisco where a couple broke up with each other in the front row, but that's different. That's, you know,
How did that happen? How did you know?
Oh, because they were in the front row in front of 1,000 people. So when she stood up, you know, and she's like, I'm leaving, you know, it was like that. So I had to acknowledge it.
Amazing.
I'm leaving.
You could hear them yelling at each other? You could hear them fighting?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, she stood, everyone's sitting. It's a stand-up show. And so she stands up, she goes, I'm leaving. And he's like, well, yeah, you go then. And I was like, hey, everything okay? And she's like, yeah, it's gonna be fine. I just need to grab my stuff, just making sure I have all my stuff. And I was like, well, do you have all your stuff? You know, I started helping them figure out this breakup, but I also wanted them to stay together, you know, because he wasn't following her out.
He's like, I'm going to enjoy the rest. I'm going to get my laughs worth. I'm going to have a grand old time. I mean, how much fun could he have at a comedy show when their relationship ends in the middle of it?
I know.
I mean, have you ever fought with someone publicly? Like in public, some like people are like looking at you because you're fighting with someone
all the time.
I've been yelled at publicly. I don't engage. I'm always the person like, okay, let's get this to a private space. Yeah, who's this person? Who's this crazy idiot? Yeah.
No, I'm like Atsuko. I've definitely, whether it's like my sisters or my husband, definitely gotten to some. Nothing makes you feel like the worst member of society than people watching you like raise your voice next to someone, just like being your raw, unfiltered self. It's something.
Yeah, but also maybe that's why I do it, because I'm right. And I want the crowd to also be like, yeah, you're right.
The world needs to know. Yeah, a public, it's like the gladiators. You want the audience to just do like the thumbs up, thumbs down to you.
Totally. Yeah. Where it's like, I'm not crazy, right? Like, this restaurant is good. We should eat here, right? It's like,
right.
Whoever I'm fighting with is wrong, that kind of thing. And so, but yes, I do that. And, this couple was passionate. He was also drunk, the guy. And it was kind of rare, usually it's the girl that's my fan. So I was like, oh, my audience is expanding. The man wants to stay and watch me. Wow. And so that was that situation. But for the most part, yes, it's a very, very sweet audience,
Well, to add on to the sweetness of an audience, like sometimes at a comedy show, there are people that show up with the attitude and the vibe of like, let's see if you can get me, which is kind of the most annoying audience at a comedy show. Like the idea that like laughing is something to be like, got me there. Like that's always the most annoying person to me when they're like,
right.
Oh, that was actually funny. It's like, is that how I'm being graded? Is there like every sentence is being, checked off a list? It's an uncomfortable, not really a fun space to like do a show.
Totally. It's like, you're welcome, trying to like make you forget your life's problems up here. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry.
Right.
That trying to give you some levity. You know what I mean?
So this is a dating podcast and we want to hear about you and your husband. How did you guys meet? How
long you been together?
Yeah. What's the story there?
Yeah. Oh gosh. It's been, I think 10 years since we met. So we're so not in the dating game, but we do get hit on as a duo. Like we no longer get hit on alone, separately, which is funny, to know people find us attractive together.
Like solicited for threesomes?
Yeah. To be like our third.
How does that happen? What was the last time that happened?
Someone wrote us a note. I think it was my show after, I don't know, Boston or something. Sometimes I'll do a meet and greet. Sometimes they'll give the security guards like gifts to give me. And one of them was like a note with like a picture of them. It was like a Polaroid picture of them. And then the note on the back, like if you're looking for a third, I'm available, that kind of thing. Which is very sweet.
That's what
very polite and sweet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's that kind of energy I'm talking about. It's not like you will sleep with me. It's not like they're trying to own me or anything. They go, hey, I know you come as a duo. I'm just asking if you want to add someone. You know what I mean? They're not even trying to separate us. That's very sweet.
It is it's like, hey, there's food in the front. If you want to come to the back, I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'll be just waiting out on the bed. You guys coming together. Like, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what do you think it is about you guys as a couple that makes the audience reach out like that? Like that it's happened enough for you to like have that be a thing? Like, what do you think it is?
The food analogy is really funny because it's also them saying like, I'll wait till you're both hungry. Okay. Like,
right.
Right.
you know, because
if I catch you in a low moment.
but also, right. It's true. It's very vulnerable when two people are hungry. Yeah.
Right.
It's like, cause then
We're starving.
Yeah, they're waiting for your public meltdown in the front row of a comedy show to be like, if you guys want to meet anyone else.
Hey, because they're like, we know you don't eat alone, right? You don't eat separately. So, right, which is very respectful. I think it's because, you know, it also gives, it's not just horny energy, it's also like adopt me energy. I think that's what it is too.
Oh.
You know?
Do you think it's something that you guys like having a good relationship that you talk about happily? They're like, I just want to be a part of that. Like, I just want to like feel that hug a little bit.
Yeah, it's not so like, yeah, these two sexy. Ooh, I get real wet thinking about them. It's more like, adopt me. You know what I mean? That's
Right.
the energy. Yeah.
And here's a picture of me to show you who you can adopt.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Right? That we put on our fridge, you know, and we go, we're supporting that girl.
I love it. So how did you guys meet? You said you've been together 10 years.
Right. We met through a friend in person. Yeah. It was like we had missed the sort of Tinder wave just by a little bit.
But there's a lot of interest on this podcast of getting away from the dating apps. And how, you know, there's people wondering, we talk about meeting through a friend and putting yourself in a position to be around the friends, to be meeting those friends. Like, you know, I think like, it's so funny that like what you're saying is what a lot of people, it was before Tinder, before Hinge, before all the dating apps and all the single people right now are going, please tell me what that was like. Please. Like they want what you have, like what you have is more exciting to a lot of people right now because it's so, you know, the clock goes around again, so to speak, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think like just being super open to every possibility was like a place me and my husband were at.
Where were you? What was the event?
I was just in like a hookup mindset and he was too. And our friend was making a short film. He's a great friend of ours. He's who like introduced us by accident by making this film. My husband was acting in it and I was helping my friend produce it. So that's how we met, you know, just me emailing my husband at the time, being like, hey, you know, these are the clothes you should bring, you know, blah, 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 just being a producer or whatever. And so, and then while we were shooting, you know, we just like I saw how funny he was and I loved that. And then, you know, I would make jokes back too. And he was like, oh, you're so witty. I was like, oh my God, I'm a comedian. And then so, yeah, it was the sense of humor that first clicked, but for sure it was like lust. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, okay.
Lust at first sight.
We'll like hook up. We'll definitely hook up because like, oh, we're already getting along, you know, and I find him attractive and, you know.
You're making me think of a good idea. I'm sorry to interrupt because you're making me think of a good idea. I'm always coming up with ideas for like
good
dating scenarios. A movie set or a TV set, a production set is a really good place to meet someone because it's a short-term project. It's not forever. You're kind of just the most yourself. You're coming in, you dress nicely because you have to be at work. And there's a lot of downtime to kind of chit chat. And also, you know, it's ending, which is the most important part. It's like, you know, that at some point you go to another job and they go to another job. And if this hookup is a disaster, you guys will leave the set fine. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm talking? Does that make any sense?
I totally agree. I didn't even think about that because it's not like, you know, it's not so relatable. Not everyone's on set, but that's a good point, you know?
Well, maybe we should make short films together, but just so people can meet each other.
I love that.
Like this is like a Nathan for you type of like,
yes,
type of solution. But I do think if we like, because I'm thinking of you meeting on the set, like, and I've been on these sets very few times, but when I have, it's very incestual and social.
It's true. It's true. It's like you've been to Hell and Back or something too. So you feel closer. It's theater. It's theater energy, right? Theater kid energy, which is horny energy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you see that in the like Wicked, Ariana Grande, Ethan Slater
Mm-hmm.
thing. Like I always think when I was watching Wicked, I remember thinking that same thing. Like this feels like a high school like drama production where like everyone's hooking up with everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, it's exciting to have watched each other change and be like, hurry, cues, everyone to your places. Like, okay, how did that go? You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it's summer camp vibes. So that's what it is. So either recreate summer camp or a set. Yes.
Right. I'm thinking
Love
how
it.
how much I would not want to do like a party where someone's like, we're all gonna by the end of the party, we're all gonna play a part in a play that we put on for nobody. I'd be like, I'm not going to that party. But I do think that there's something in it.
Hey, but it's either that
as-
or Tinder. You know what I mean?
right.
It's like, why
You
not?
either
Yeah.
play the seventh dwarf or you're back on Hinge, bitch.
It's over.
Yeah, I mean, real life is crazier. Are you kidding? I'd be like, yes, my
Right.
mom has schizophrenia. I am the seventh dwarf. Hello, ding dong. Sign,
This is an
sign me
escape,
up. Are you
yeah.
kidding? This is the most sane thing that's ever happened. Of course, I'm gonna find love this way. Because then you're sitting there with the six other dwarfs, right? And you're like,
Right.
this is weird, right, guys? And then you already have something in common because you didn't want to be probably that. Everyone wants to be the prince, I think, and the Snow White. I've experienced that before.
What were you casting that you didn't like?
An old woman. The character was just called Old Woman too. And
How old were you when you got cast as Old Woman?
4th grade.
That's Hollywood for you.
Yeah,
right?
but I didn't have another old woman. Exactly. I didn't have another old woman to like, connect with and be like, this sucks, right? So that was a very lonely, but 7 dwarfs, you got 6 friends.
You got 6 friends right away. You guys
I
go
feel
on at
that.
the same time. That's good.
Yeah.
These are
Yeah.
Really.
I mean, you talk in your special and in your comedy about, you're kind of immigrated here and you lived with your grandmother. Did you find like with your husband there was some sort of was there any like roadblocks or issues with just like cultural differences or like him kind of understanding like where you came from? I'm not sure what his background is. Was there anything to overcome in that
Yeah.
sort of area of your
What's
life?
weird
Yeah.
is it's not a cultural difference, even though it is different cultures that we're from. He's from the South. He's like Texan, and then he's got family in like Louisiana and stuff like that. But it was more because I was raised by, my grandma who's 50 years older than me, and my mom has schizophrenia. And like, you know what I mean? I was like undocumented. I was very shy. I didn't learn life skills. So that's kind of something we had to learn together, like my husband.
What do you mean life skills?
Oh, life skills, like doing the laundry.
Life skills.
Yeah.
Oh, like okay.
Yeah.
Why not the like it was like your grandma doing that? Like
Mhm.
what do you, I didn't learn life skills because I had an overbearing Jewish mom who told me that doing anything in the house would be ruining it, and so she just did it.
Right.
So like I remember like if I like picked up trash, she'd be like, "No, you're gonna ruin the trash you picked up. I'll do it. Just don't do anything." And I'd get yelled at for never doing anything while being told that they would do everything for me. So like that's like my whole life.
Right.
Like what was the like growing up with a grandma? Like what's that like?
Yeah. So similar, but different in that like my mom didn't want me to grow up. She was like, no, this is my precious one thing as Atsuko. She's got to be my baby forever. So anytime, I would try to learn chores or my grandma would try to teach me, my mom would, throw temper tantrums and throw things. So it was just very unstable. And so I just was like a useless piece of rock that bled once a month because I still got my period. And I was like, well, I'm horny. And then I got horny. And it's like, but I still don't know how to fold clothes or how to wash dishes. And then, based on my charming personality alone, I got me a husband. But, just like last year, I found out that he had been doing the laundry for the past 8 years in our marriage.
What did you think happened with the laundry?
I thought I was contributing sometimes. He was shocked too. It's not just me. We were both shocked because he also thought I was doing it sometimes. Because, you do your laundry, right? So he would do the laundry and then it would take a couple of days for us to like fold the clothes or whatever. I would help out with folding the clothes. So by then we just thought, oh, maybe I did it or like he did it. Because, you know, when you've seen someone do something, so you think, oh, that was me too. Like,
Right. I contributed.
right. But then you realize, and we found out because I asked him how to turn on the washing machine. And because I was like, hey, which setting would be good for like underwear? And that's when we both realized. He was like, wait, have you not been doing the laundry this whole time? And I was like, oh my God, it has been you this whole time. Like, that's how.
And I would have gotten away with it too.
Yeah. So it's not a cultural. Exactly. I was like, what?
Yeah.
What? Oh my God. He's like, I thought you were doing it sometimes. I was like, I thought I was doing it sometimes. I swear, this is not on purpose. So that's what I mean by like, it's not cultural differences. Whatever that is that I'm describing, that's been the.
Like life skills. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you bringing him home? Was there any like? Was it? I mean, you mentioned your mom having being schizophrenic. Like, how do you introduce? You know, that's one of those things we get asked a lot. Like, where it's like, I have this thing going on in my life, and I'm going to introduce this person that I really like to my life. And a lot of people get concerned with like, how do I introduce something that maybe they're not used to?
Oh, this is the fun part. I didn't tell you. My husband's mom also has schizophrenia.
Come on.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
Yes, I saw that.
So like,
yes.
of course we're gonna get. Yeah, of course everything's perfect.
I mean, so you both get you understand
In a
each
way. Yeah.
Yeah.
In a way, I mean, that's not a good reason to be like, that's why I don't wash the dishes. You cannot use that. I've tried.
Well, he does. Her version of schizophrenia like made him do the dishes, and your mom's version made you not do it. So maybe
Totally.
it was
Yeah. So
complimentary.
Yes, exactly. And that's why that excuse particularly doesn't work for him, you know, because he's like,
Right.
whoa, who am I? Well, what, you know? And so, yeah, so that's something.
Well, it doesn't work for you. You know, like you say, well, my mom had schizophrenia. He's like, my mom too. What the fuck? You know, like.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you met his mom, was that like.
I get it.
Were you like, I've seen all this before?
Yeah. I mean, the truth is like, you know, everyone still has a different personality. His mom is, you know, more social than my mom, and the pills work for her. You know, it doesn't work for my mom. So, and his mom is super religious. Like she has God and Christianity. So like when she hears voices in her head, it's God. It's perfect. Right.
Oh,
my mom doesn't believe in God. She's like my mom's pretty, not to say his mom's not smart, but sometimes my mom is too smart for her own good. Like I wish my mom believed in God. Then it wouldn't be, you know, these evil men speaking to her in her brain. Instead, it's just God, you know?
Right. The simplification of like, okay, you know, right and wrong is just very black and white if it's all about God.
Yeah. And church means you have a community and friends who will at least be nice to you because, you know, they're supposed to be because they're Christian, right? So it's like
you're in the group.
Yeah. So I wish she had like church, for example. But yeah, so you know, but I do know how to deal with his mom in that like I know, okay, so like every full moon, we know to expect lots of calls from both of our moms.
Actually, full moon?
Yeah. It makes sense though, right? So like full moons affect people without schizophrenia, right? Just like.
Well, when people say that, I always think we're just saying that to say it. Like, that's a real thing, you think? I mean, it is?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. New Yorkers maybe don't believe. I'm an LA girl. So.
I believe in a lot of.
I believe you. Yeah, no,
if you're telling me it,
interesting.
I just, when someone's like, man, when I'm like, oh man, the shows tonight sucked. And then someone goes, full moon, I go, okay, yeah, I'll believe you. Like I didn't know.
We're woo woo on this show.
Yeah, we go woo woo.
Yeah, I think because in New York, it could feel like the moon is heavy every day, you know. So, but here you really feel it. You really feel it. Where you know, and I don't know. It's like my period, if it's on full moon, is like heavier flow too. It makes sense. It affects water of like the world, like
that makes
ocean
sense.
water, and our bodies are like our bodies are like 3/4 water. So of course it's going to
You're right.
shift our body weight and energy. So sometimes it's like even feeling bloated makes you more depressed. It's just tiny things like that could affect you. Anyway, it just hits both of our moms in a way where we know to like, brace ourselves for like paranoid calls from our moms.
The next time it's a full moon, I'm going to say to someone randomly, I'm going to be like, oh, full moon.
Mm-hmm.
Watch out, the schizophrenics are going to be out tonight. Like, I'm going to like...
Yeah, I mean, you could. I mean, the whole werewolf thing, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's based in something.
Yeah,
right?
I wouldn't be surprised if it was someone with a chemical imbalance in their brain.
I could see that, yeah. And now I have a new reason to not do the dishes on a full moon.
Yeah, you're like, hey, moon be heavy or whatever. Yes. Moon be big.
Moon be heavy. That's the new merch for the next special.
I don't even know if that's how it works. I just said it was heavy. I feel heavy. Moon be big.
No, there's a heaviness. I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love that. I think, to me, it speaks to like you guys sort of, there's a part of like where you get each other, or you get what it's like to not be from a traditional or like cookie cutter kind of background, like to have a little something different about you.
Right. Yeah. And I know how to, he knows how to deal with my mom, and I know how to deal with his, like I'll warn her, like there's certain locations that make her like trigger the voices more, and so yeah, I'll be like, hey, you're going back to Louisiana. Remember, that's a place that really triggers the voices. So, you want to like really self-care,
When you were about to tell him about your mom having schizophrenia, or whoever said it first, like, was there like, hey, I have to sit you down? And then like, do you remember telling each other, or did it just come up naturally and you're like, oh my God, me too? Like, how does that? Because
You're
like,
asking if it was like a Parent Trap, Lindsay Lohan. Like, I'm more born in October 6th.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Actually it was.
Your mom talks to a ghost too. Like.
Yeah, totally. It was kind of like, I think Love Actually has a scene similar to this, but it was like our third date and we were about to like hook up, like have sex in his bedroom. And
weird time to go over this, but keep going. Yeah, what happened?
Always. It's like I said, 7 dwarfs, why not? Life isn't like
right.
Life is always insane. So, but yeah, we were about to hook up. So we were like both in our underwear, and then his phone goes off and he's like, it's my mom. I have to take it. And so he leaves the room, and I was like,
literally like Love Actually.
Yeah. And I'm like, why? What do you mean? Like, we're about to hook up. Your mom, you're going to pick up for your mom? I was like, uh-oh, red flag. He's like a mama's boy. You know what I mean? And he's talking to her. I hear him talking to her, and he's like comforting her. And he was out there for like 45 minutes. And then I hear him starting to sing to her. And that's when I was like, hold on, super red flag. Is he like, are they like a singing mother and son? Like, I didn't know what was happening. And then he comes back in like 45 minutes later. Like, we're not like horny anymore. And he goes, I'm so sorry.
You're in a full business suit. You're like, okay, I'm ready. I'm leaving.
Yeah. And I came in a dress, but here I am in a business suit, double closed up. And he's like, I'm so sorry. That was my mom. She needed comforting. She has this thing. I don't know if you've heard of it, schizophrenia. And I was like, oh my God, my mom too. And like, we had the craziest sex. We were like, like suddenly it was like everything, like the whole math problem thing
fell into place.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God. Like, I saw his childhood immediately. He saw my childhood immediately. We were just like, oh my God. And we like got on top of each other. We're like, we deserve this. We're like throwing each other and stuff. It was like this wild moment because we were already like, smitten and getting along,
right.
The sense of humor and stuff. And right. Like already the lust.
Well, but
this is a huge.
I would imagine this brings it to like a real like intimate level. Like it's probably less surface and more like higher intimacy when you're sharing something a little vulnerable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You get to that next phase almost of like of dating.
Right. This is a huge push for people to be more vulnerable. Like this story is like the story for like, yeah, you got to open up. Like the minute you do, the game changes, so to speak.
Totally. And I would love a website for people like this too. Like dating website, like yourmomtoo.com,
I'd be on it.
Yeah.
Right.
I got a mom who's got issues.
Yeah. Your
You
mom
fill out a
too.
profile of all the things that you fill out a profile about your mom and they match you. The algorithm takes you to people with, my mom goes through the trash and asks me why I threw away a tissue. Like I could put that in.
Right.
And then someone will be like, I can't throw anything away now either,
The only fear is that it'll be someone you're related to. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
You're like, wait, hold on. This is, oh, no wonder like we have that similar thing because that's your aunt and that's my mom.
Right.
Or whatever. I don't know.
Atsuko, we want to do an email with you if that's okay.
Let's
we want
do
to
it.
answer a listener email. Let's do an email. This is so fantastic. I think everyone should go watch your special immediately. We'll have the link in the bio of the episode as well as YouTube. It is called Father. It's out on Hulu right now. I mean, I watched you live. It's such a fun story, such a fun stand-up hour. Everyone's going to love it. And you have a special on HBO as well. So people can go, watch everything you've done and, get into it. So we want people to go get involved with Atsuko because, you're going to love her.
Thank you. And you have multiple platforms to choose from. So.
All the platforms.
Right.
All the platforms, all the specials, different streaming services. I watched the HBO one. It was so funny. Okay, let's get into our email. Hopefully you can help us with some with some dating advice here. All right. Someone writes, "Hi J&J, big fan of all things Betches and J-Train. My husband and I listen often together, and you're often my entertainment through an AirPod while I'm on maternity leave. I have a question for a situation that my sibling has found themselves in. They were engaged, and the engagement ended about 2 months before the wedding due to my sibling realizing that this was an unhealthy relationship and also acknowledging some personal challenges that they have to work on individually. It's been a messy breakup overall, but it's really sending me, and the reason I'm bringing this to your attention to discuss. My siblings' ex's parents recently told them that they owe each and every one of the family members a personal apology. They claim that my sibling has ruined everybody's lives, not true, and are particularly upset that my sibling is now on a dating app. Personally, from our perspective, my sibling has every right to be on a dating app if they want to, because the relationship is over, and it's also insane to expect them to deliver a personal apology to a mom and a dad, a sister, a brother, a sister-in-law, grandma, an uncle, and a third cousin twice removed, etc. So what do you think? Do you owe an apology to each family member after a breakup? Is it particularly spiteful to be on a dating app after a breakup? Love you guys. A non-apologetic batch."
Wow.
Atsuko, what do you think of this email? Do you think apologies are owed? Do you think someone can be? What is the time frame you feel that someone has to wait to start dating after a breakup? What are your thoughts?
It's so wild because it really is like up to you and your process, right? I mean, I kind of just bounce. I don't even see the family anymore in my past relationships, So like, or keep in touch with them, let alone be like, hey, I'm sorry, me and your son didn't work out or whatever. I don't know.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think for a regular breakup makes sense. Just never speak to anyone ever again. That seems like the way to go. I guess in this case, because you're breaking off an engagement that everyone was like planning to go to the wedding, maybe there's a sense of like, now people have to change their plans, which again doesn't seem like that big of a deal. I guess it depends where and when the wedding were. Is this a destination wedding? I think that's a bigger deal.
2 months before the wedding, someone has paid money for something. I think that has to be acknowledged, but listen, parents reaching out to, it is wild that they're getting all this information too. Like that their sibling is hearing that they're not happy they're on a dating app. It sounds like the sibling is keeping up with the ex and the ex is hurling these things at them to make them feel badly. Like whether they're true or not, it doesn't matter. This person's like kind of weaponizing the guilt to let them know like, and my parents know you're on a dating app and they didn't even get an apology from you. Like it's all this stuff to like make
right
this person, because if the sibling's on a dating app and they ended the engagement, that means the sibling was like weighing this before and it wasn't healthy. So I'm imagining when someone doesn't fight in a healthy way, they're still going to fight with you in an unhealthy way, even though you've broken up. Like, this is them hurling arrows at you to me.
Yeah. No, that
Like,
makes sense.
who deserves what,
Like, not to gaslight, but as a friend or like family, I'm like, well, I won't get so invested in someone else's relationship. You know what I mean? Like, sure, I'll go to the engagement, but I don't know. Yeah, if it's a destination, sure, I get it. That money was spent.
True. Yeah. I think it's weird to care that much. If anything, it's a good story for you and your family to talk shit about for, a few months. So you're not the one going through any pain. I totally agree with that. I do have a question though. I want both of your take on them. And that leads to her second question is like, what do you think is the classy amount of time to wait to go on a dating app after you've broken off your engagement? What's a classy amount of time? Obviously, you have a right. You have a right the night of you're broken up. As soon as everyone has like you're technically allowed to immediately. But what is like the classy time period?
It's tough. It's tough because if you think, Jordana, like that's the thing. The advice is once it's over and you're not boyfriend, girlfriend anymore, or boyfriend, girlfriend, girl, whatever you are, if you're not in a relationship anymore, it's over. You have a right to do whatever you'd like. But we do have to acknowledge, I like that you said classy. Like, your picture is out on a billboard to be publicly seen by all the single people in your area. So it is a loud way to start dating again. And this is something our generation has to deal with that no other generation had to deal with. Like, if 30, 40 years ago, someone breaks up, they don't, go out into the town square and say, I'm here, I'm available.
Right.
That's kind of
you might go to a bar,
right.
But no one would, unless someone saw you at a bar making out with someone, you wouldn't really know.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think like the dream scenario is to have someone tell you they've seen your ex on a dating app first. So then you can go and join the dating app. It's a little bit like after you, loser. Like, you let the person who's been dumped go first, and after you, sad person. Like that's
right. That's the best way to do it. But if you don't get that,
you never get that.
It's right. Yeah.
Right.
I think 3 weeks.
After an engagement.
Yes. See, it's always going to get judged.
Hard.
It's always.
I know.
It's hard.
Because then I'm like,
Atsuko,
okay, fine. I'm like, okay, fine. Then the 2 months, like they did.
Right, 2 months. I think if you can, engagement's so tough.
I would wait until the wedding date passed.
Oh.
Ooh.
Because then also, I think you don't want to go on a date and be like, I was supposed to get married next week.
Oh.
Like,
I didn't even think about that.
I would wait till the date passed, give it like at least like, just for my own like dating conversation.
You guys are smart.
I would much rather be on a date with someone who's like, oh, weird coincidence, it's my birthday today, than the person who's like, oh, weird coincidence, today was the day that we were supposed to be at the church, like.
Wow. This is why you guys have this podcast, because you are good at this. I'm like, no, you do not owe an apology. You get on there right away. You do not need, and I'm like, right, it's an engagement. That is a big deal, Right.
Atsuko, let's say your husband comes home today, tells you he wants a divorce. How long are you waiting to get on the apps?
When do you get on schizophrenicmom.com?
Yeah.
Yourmom2.com.
Well, he'll be on there too.
Right.
But,
You gotta go to a different site.
But I guess it's more like, well, if he's the one that broke it off, then I get to tonight,
Yeah, you get to go whenever you want.
I guess it's more like whoever broke it off has to wait longer. That's my rule.
That's the rule.
Losers first.
Yes, like you said. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Victim before beauty, or whatever.
Yeah,
it is.
yeah, and unfortunately, in this case, it seems like the sibling is maybe the one that broke it off. But who knows? I don't know what happened. Maybe it was an abusive relationship.
That's true.
Right.
Yeah.
I've been contacted by the parent of someone I've dated before, and it was it's a bad feeling. Like, you do feel the most guilt because you know, in your mind, when you end a relationship, you're like, yeah, it's going to be hard on the person you ended it with. Your brain doesn't go to the second and third tier people.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're told the second and third tier people are also upset with you, you're like, oh my God, that guilt like attacks your soul. Cause you're like, I didn't mean to uproot a family. Like that wasn't my goal here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to make I don't want Meemaw and Peepaw upset with me too. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
But they're alive and out there, hearing about it too.
And then, how about the friends? I always, I joke that when my friends go through a breakup and they're like, yeah, me and Matt broke up. And I'm like, okay, but what about me? Like, maybe I miss Matt. Like,
Right.
how about my time with Matt? I put in a lot because I thought that was your soulmate.
Right. I thought I was going to have to go on double dates with him the rest of my life.
I had deep conversations with him. I fed him. He ate a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's how I would feel about all my stepdads.
Yeah.
Like, I had to talk to this person for 6
right?
months.
I know. Like sometimes like long conversations.
Let's play a quick game before we go. Is that okay?
Yes.
Atsuko? And we want everyone to, and it's based on the email. Okay. We're going to go through a list of people and situations, and you have to decide whether does the breaker upper owe them apology or not. So we'll go through different family members and people in the person's life. So you end a relationship. You called off a wedding 2 months ago, or 2 months before the wedding, you call it off.
Mm-hmm.
Do you owe an apology to this person? Are you ready?
Yeah.
The grandma who might die any minute, but we're holding off to get to the wedding. Do you owe them an apology?
She might be gone.
Yeah, hopefully she just dies from the shock.
She might be gone. She might be gone. Why add to that stress? Why add to her stress?
Right.
Yeah.
That's true. What is she gonna need to hear from you?
Right.
I
would
agree.
just
no apology.
Also, if that was my grandma and I got dumped, I would just lie to the grandma. We got married. It was a beautiful occasion. Like I'd let her have that beautiful memory.
Mm-hmm.
Go, let her be happy.
Exactly.
You wore a blue dress. You were lovely.
Yeah, you were amazing. Yeah. You danced.
Yeah.
You got up off the chair. You were great. All right, let's do another.
Okay. The ex's parents who paid for the wedding, they gave all the deposits. Do you owe them an apology?
I mean, you do. I think you do.
I think you do. And I think the way this person does it, and I think even if this person who the sibling wrote in, here's what you do. You write a letter. A letter involves no
email.
Not even email. I think a letter, handwritten.
A real letter.
Handwritten because
okay.
Think of your brain chemistry. Now let's go back to brain chemistry and the moons.
Oh, okay.
When
yes.
you write a letter, you have no expectation of getting a letter back.
Right.
It's just sent into the wind. When you send an email, there's this like, you're like almost like your body's like waiting for a smack back.
Wow.
So write a letter and make it nice and end it with the parents and part of the letter. And people just really appreciate a letter. Like I think a letter honestly is like worth the money they put into the wedding.
That's why people send thank you notes.
Wow.
Right?
That's very smart. Yeah.
Well, here's the other question. So you have to apologize to the parents. Do you have to pay them back?
No.
Yeah.
That's the risk you take.
Yeah. Right. Handwritten note. Yeah, that's it.
Handwritten note is worth $250,000.
Well, because
I'm sorry about your deposits.
Well, because maybe they were paying for it because you couldn't afford it too. So it's like,
right.
Yeah.
Well, now what?
It's their wedding. You were doing all the things they wanted. You were inviting their friends. You didn't ask for Aunt Kathy to be there.
I agree. I think you don't have to pay them back, but if you do pay them back, you don't have to write the letter.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh yeah. I mean,
okay, I like that.
If I pay all the deposits that you already paid, then
that is an
We're
apology in itself, you know?
I agree with
Yeah.
that.
Agreed.
Okay. The maid of honor who already had her dress tailored, do you have to apologize to that person?
Is it your maid of honor or your ex's maid of honor?
That's a good point.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Because if it was my best man who got a full tux for my wedding, I would have to apologize to them. Yes.
That's true. But if you apologize to them, wouldn't it be classy to apologize the other way?
Right. And I wouldn't. Knowing myself, I wouldn't apologize to the maid of honor of my ex, fiance, but I probably should. If I was to like have to make a ruling, I probably should.
Yeah.
That's true. How much does the tailoring cost? I might just pay for that.
How tough was the alteration? Yeah.
Right. That seems more manageable than like the floral deposit.
Right. I mean, you didn't do the tailoring, right? I mean, let's say you didn't. But
yeah, right.
I would apologize if to the other person's maid of honor.
I think you should, but I know I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I'm not
that's
that good a
good.
person.
It's good to know who you are. It's good to know who you're not.
Thank you. Let's do one more.
Okay, one more. Yeah.
The mutual friend who introduced you. So a mutual friend introduced you to your ex-fiance. You break off the wedding. Do you apologize to that friend? Do you owe them one?
I don't think you owe them one. You're still going to be friends after all this, right?
Right.
Well, they'll be friends with one of you at least.
It's true. It's true.
Jordana, what do you think?
No, I don't think you owe them an apology. I think they don't. I think once you do the intro is a selfless act.
Yeah.
I would apologize if I cheated on them or I did something really horrific. I would apologize to the mutual friend because that's a bad look for them that they introduced them to a monster like me. But if we just we figured out kind of late in the game we're not a match, I don't owe them anything.
I think the reason for I think you do owe an apology to the mutual friend who introduced you, but it's not that you're sorry that you broke up. I think I would be sorry to the mutual friend for making their life more difficult and uncomfortable in any way I might have done. So letting them know like, hey, it had to end. I'm not sorry for ending it, but I am really sorry that this is going to be uncomfortable for you because you know us both and you might have to hear from their side or not and maybe lose that friendship. I don't know how that's going to go. So I'm sorry that you're going to have to deal with that because I don't have to deal with it.
You guys are so emotionally mature.
Oh, you've caught us at a good day.
I'm like,
I was
what?
in the sun earlier.
We're usually quite deranged.
But I'm like, sure, you don't. I thought I was emotionally mature. It turns out I'm not and don't have life skills. What do I have? What do I have?
Atsuko, I'm going to come over and teach you how to fold. I'll show you a thing or two.
Oh my God.
Thank you so much. Everyone go follow Atsuko.
Watch the specials.
Watch it.
Follow on TikTok, Instagram, all the platforms. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I learned so much.
You're the best. Thank you.
We'll be back next week.
Boom.
Bye.